So I'm here in Acapulco, Mexico, and I'm spending a week with friends. They're all doctors except myself, and we're working on ourselves. That's what we're doing. We're working on writing our stories. We're working on honing our skills. We're working on the book that's within us. And a topic came up that comes up all the time in my life. I talk about it all the time with friends in our coaching group, and that is worth. I deserve. And when I first had this discussion with myself, and fortunately my bride had it with me as well, of, I know what I deserve, and it ain't good. But the reality is, as my friend Ice-T said last year when we were in Carnegie Hall, he said, no one wakes up with your dream. Only you can pursue it. And Les Brown on our podcast, he said, Eric, you've got to believe as if only God can do it. But you got to work as if only you can do it. And he's like, that's why my book's called You Got to Be Hungry. No one wakes up with your dream. And no one's going to invest in you if you won't invest in yourself. See, we struggle with, is it okay for me to do this? Is it okay for me to spend time with my kids? Is it okay for me to have a quiet time or go exercise or something like that? Yet we forget that in an airplane, if there's an issue, they say, before you help the person next to you, you got to put your mask on. See, I was drowning 2 years ago. Drowning. And a friend went to lunch with me, and he said he could tell that I was just really depressed and I had zero self-worth, and I was just dying. And Mark said, Eric, what's the greatest commandment? And I said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength. He says, what's the second greatest commandment? I said, love your neighbor as yourself. And he said, aha, as yourself. He says, most people forget that part. They just say, love your neighbor. But the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. And then he asked me a third question. He said, Eric, how well are you loving yourself? And I teared up. I said, Mark, I don't love myself at all. He says, then you can't be loving your neighbor well either. You can't be loving your wife well because you can't love them better than you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you can't love them any better than you love yourself. So my question would be, how well are you loving yourself? Deserve is such a strong, triggering word, right? And right now in politics, we have so many triggering words. Deserve is one of those words that trigger you, especially as a believer myself, because I tell myself I deserve bad. I don't deserve good. Yet Christ says he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. My Father says he has plans to prosper me and not to harm me, for a hope and a future. And in the Bible, and especially in the New Testament, a lot of us say, well, I'm a sinner saved by grace. And the Bible's like, no, that's not true. I've heard it my whole life. The term sinner is used like 3, maybe 4 times in the New Testament, and it's Paul describing his life before he became a Christian. Yet the term saint, referencing us as believers as a saint, is used over 50 times. Sinner used like 3 or 4, saint used either, I forget if it's 54 or 57 times. So I'm not a sinner saved by grace. I'm a saint who still struggles with sin at times. And there's a massive difference. How do you define yourself? Do you find yourself as wretched, or do you find yourself as worthy? It'll change your life, because however you define yourself is how other people will define you. Even if they don't know it, even if you don't recognize it. So much of our communication is never said. It's just expressed through unspoken word. And however you see yourself is how others will see you. So it's time to take a step forward. It's time to believe in yourself. It's okay to take a trip. It's okay to spend time with your family. It's okay to invest in yourself. In fact, that's the best thing you can do. If you want to improve your marriage, if you want to improve your ability as a parent, if you want to improve your life, invest in yourself. Put on your mask and love yourself. And by doing so, you'll be able to love others so much better. Have a great day.